My name is Jan Carruthers, and this is the Mystic Moments of CSL Boulder Valley. Happy autumn! The theme for September is harmony, and clearly, harmony is an inside job, isn't it? It means to be in sync, to be complementary. When you hear music sung close harmony, the singers are creating a richer, deeper sound because they're capturing all the related notes. And harmony is also to be at peace with, cooperative with, in tune with. And one area of inner conflict that I think bears some examination is our harmony and peace with our age. Not the era that we're in, but the number of years we have lived, our birthday number, our age. We need to come or be in peace with our age, where we are to enjoy, appreciate the gifts and the opportunities of our age and our stage of life. It makes sense, right? And yet, there are many people who are dissatisfied with or disappointed with or resistant to their current age. Either we're too young or we aren't old enough, or we're getting older, or maybe too old, which all depends upon the meanings and the beliefs that we have about all the various ages. In our childhood, we want to be older, don't we? And then over the years, we discover there's something about being older. That older we always wanted to be is not so appealing to be older, and certainly not old. The issue that we're contending with from our earliest childhood is our Western culture. We've been compiling opinions, beliefs, attitudes from marketing and folk tales and literature over what it means to be old. And frankly, most of it is quite negative. And over time, we've developed our own inner ageist, like sexist and racist. Mentally and emotionally, when it comes to age, many of us have become our own worst enemy. Now, if you have a little voice that says, "Oh, not me, I don't have any opinions about being older," just notice that. Many of us really have been in our own way, and we're aided by a chorus of gloomsayers, and most of us find that we're in conflict at some way, some degree on an inner level. And yet we're at a potentially very rich, emotionally wonderful stage of our lives if we can find acceptance and harmony with it. And as you imagine, the solution is always turning inward to spirit and consciousness. To be in harmony, we have to explore our values. And in doing so honestly, consciously, we may discover that our values, and certainly our goals and our activities, will change as we evolve. As humans develop, we're certainly not the same people we were at so many stops along our life's journey. But sometimes our essential values and goals on the soul level slip away as we grow, not by conscious intention or choice, but through the influence of other people and our experiences. We begin to shape ourselves from an early age to meet the expectations of others and not our sole purpose. So at every stage, and especially as adults growing older, we can benefit from slowing down and looking deeply and listening at a soul level in order to harmonize with our own values and not our shoulds. For a group that I am in, and we are reading a book that's totally wonderful for our times, it's called The Inner Work of Aging, Shifting from Role to Soul, by Connie Zweig, Zweig, PhD. She is a deep spiritual thinker, a psychotherapist, an editor, and an author. She's a very insightful chronicler of the development path of people as we move through the various stages of our lives. including helping people recover aspects of our lives that we have shaved off, repressed, put into a shadow place, a la the great psychotherapist Carl Jung. She believes that there are aspects and realms of consciousness that will allow us a greater experience of life than many of us have allowed ourselves. She calls us to develop and deepen the spiritual practices that will give us stretches of pure awareness. Doesn't that sound appealing? Pure awareness. And no matter how competent we are or content we may be, many of us, when we quiet on down, truly allow ourselves the time to examine our lives more deeply. We identify small and sometimes very large aspects of our lives that we have where we feel out of harmony or balance with ourselves. And maybe it's not a loud, demanding voice, maybe it's a slight sadness. Perhaps a sense of something's off kilter. In some cases, we may feel just a slight niggling or a great lack of integrity with some aspect of life, a lack of full, hearty expression of who we are. And if we allow ourselves to delve into that place, we may get to know in our hearts that there's a calling, a soul calling. And to get to that still small voice that we talk about so much, the whispering of our soul, we may have to contend with a really loud, critical voice with a lot of opinions, right? This is a critical voice that comes up and it exhorts us with expectations and opinions and shoulds. You know that voice? This is very often the repressed voice of our shadow, under pressure of some aspect of our life, something we don't really want to look at, something we've set aside for any number of reasons. It sounds like judgment, and it warns us off some place that our ego is protecting or avoiding. But if we spend more time allowing ourselves to do deeper consciousness work, we would actually be able to draw out that shadow aspect that we've repressed. It's what Connie Swig calls romancing the shadow. Not to resist, but to listen to those deeper notes that are underneath the noisy chatter that's keeping us from attending to and expressing our soul. We need to slow down to hear what we've repressed. There's a wonderful exercise in her book that I recommend. She suggests you take a large piece of paper and you draw a column for each decade of your life. And when you do that, you write down the high points of those years and what you learned and decisions that you made and big events. And then you have a sharing discussion with somebody else who's also done the activity, a friend. Then together you discover so many insights and add to each other's. And quite frankly, you may be startled at what ages you made certain decisions. And you may begin to want to reclaim certain parts or strengths of your life that you left behind for reasons that an adult would not do, but a child did. There's a lovely little book by a Korean Buddhist monk named Haemin Sunim called The Things You Can Only See When You Slow Down. Great, right? He talks about purposeful slowing down and dwelling in spirit, doing explorations to consider new possibilities that you've rejected out of hand. By now, you might agree that we do need to listen to our inner reactions when the shadow of shaved parts of yourself arise. They don't always arise quietly. They definitely arise. And what do they say? They're not pleasant sometimes. They say, of course not. Not for you. You are not that kind of person. You are not fill in the blank. You can't. You may detect an early voice attached to a person or an event, sometimes insignificant, and often it's our own internal repression. This is not easy or quick work. Counselors and spiritual guides can help us, but to have a deeply satisfying, no regrets life, it is so valuable to do this, and especially as we become older adults. There are deep parts of us that may need expression, and parts that have been pushed down, maybe from fear, from doubt, for achievement, or to win approval or love. There is nothing wrong with the decisions that you made, nothing wrong with the conscious choices. However, most of us know that many of our decisions were not made actually consciously. We have only so much life in this form. We need not to spend it according to someone else's ideas, someone else's opinions, directions, beliefs. So if you want to paint, sing, dance, join the Peace Corps, or have great new relationship, now is the time for you. And now is the time for the people in your life. Decide and allow yourself to do the work. Take the risks, overcome old habits, act to harmonize more fully with your values. And there is no time but now. As we know, on the human life of a soul on this plane, there's a cycle. It's a birth, a youth, an adulthood, an old age, and death, which, according to our beliefs, is a spiritual transformation, a spiritual transition into another stage of consciousness. So this is the perfect time, whatever age you are, and especially if you're an older adult, to do some of the inner work of aging, evolving from role to soul. We could also call it the inner work of harmony. Harmony with our divinity, with our soul. It doesn't mean you lose all your roles, but your roles change, and many of them no longer need as much from you, right? When we live from our soul, more than identifying with our ego, we do the activities of those roles in deeper harmony with the universe, with energy of love, less from ego, more from compassionate non-attachment and oneness. The opportunity of later life is to become an elder, to draw from all that wisdom that has been shared, poured into us, to become unshakably present, not so concerned with ourselves and looking good, but in service to humanity, with good humor and deep love. And frankly, this may be the best approach for us in this time of violence and conflict and peril in the world. How can we bring any hope of harmony? I recognize it takes great inner work to find and stay in oneness with all. And it's not from converting those I disagree with. It's not through seeing more enemies, but by allowing everyone a place as a child of the divine. Find your own spiritual guidance, consciousness teacher, model of divine service. Learn about the wisdom practices they do and join them in that work. The world is providing us with a perfect stage to test our beliefs of oneness. This is the time to learn about harmony. And you deserve, we all deserve, to live fully in harmony with our soul's destiny, to enjoy what previously you thought you can't or you won't be, try, have, or do. It's time now. I think of all of our great mystic leaders, spiritual leaders, enlightened ones of this time and of history, they lived and faced the challenges of the world. However, first they had to come to harmony in themselves with their own souls. They had to know the truth of their being as we do. And so my wish for you this morning is to know peace, deepening harmony with your age and with the life that you have lived so far. I wish you to be willing to sing your songs and create your art, run your races, and make your life a tribute. Most of all, to live your life fully, dwelling in peace and love, communing in harmony with your soul's whispering. One act of harmony is to continue to support and contribute to the place that feeds you. So I recommend you continue to donate, tithe to the Center for Spiritual Living, Boulder Valley. And I'm excited about as you are moving forward in your next chapter. And I'm also excited to be with you next month in person. I can hardly wait. I'm going to be there to help celebrate Reverend Jody Stevenson, my dear, dear friend, her retirement from senior ministry. I'm honored to take part, and I know it will be joyful and inspirational. And I also encourage you to attend a very special concert Saturday, October 22nd, as part of the weekend celebration. Mark Bosnian is a generous, exceptionally talented musician, singer, songwriter, and a double inductee to the Oregon Music Hall of Fame. He is our longtime friend, and he's coming from Portland to do a fundraiser concert for CSLBV and to celebrate her retirement. The concert is Show Me a Sign. And take it from me, you do not want to miss him. See you in October. Thank you very much. All the best.